OFPG Voices is brought to you by the following sponsors. Renegade Game Studios, publisher of The Fox in the Forest, Arboretum, and The Search for Planet X. To view their entire catalog, visit renegadegamestudios.com. Board and Dice designs and publishes family and strategy board games. Two of their most recent releases are Tillatum and Terracotta Army. They have recently launched their ally program to lend support to underrepresented voices in the hobby. Flat Out Games is the award-winning board game design and publishing collaborative that brought you Point Salad, Calico, Verdant, and the 2022 Spiel des Jahres winner, Cascadia. Flat Out Games will be launching their latest title, Fit to Print, on Kickstarter in late 2022. Visit fit2printgame.com to find out more. Floodgate Games, creating everlasting experiences through gaming. Floodgate is best known for Sagrada and its family of expansions, as well as other great games like Fog of Love, Decorum, and most recently Kites. To learn more, visit floodgate.games. Hi everybody, I'm Starla.
I'm Mick.
And we are
Our Family Plays Games. Voices, yeah. Love that, I love that, yeah.
And welcome back to another episode.
Ooh, yes, this is 20.
20.
Episode 20.
Yes.
Yes.
We are counting them down.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And have voices galore coming.
Yes, because this week we're bringing on a new voice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we just bringing them, keep bringing them on.
We are. We're so excited to introduce this one to you.
Yes, we are.
So this week we're going to start off with the How to Play from Dwayne and Alicia from BlackBoard Gaming.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they're going to discuss a Halloween type game called Grim Masquerade.
Well, you know, Grim Masquerade is not really Halloween, but yeah,
Halloween
you know, kind of.
You know, it fits the season.
It does.
It fits the season.
But you know, we'll talk about it after they're done. Yeah.
And then up after that, it's going to be School by Group.
Here she comes.
With Dr. Tanya Pobuda.
Here she comes.
And she's going to discuss board games are truly for everyone.
Yes.
Regardless of race or culture. And she's going to talk to you about how long they've been around. Yeah.
Yes, she's gonna break it down.
She's gonna break it down.
I cannot wait. She's gonna break it down. Yes, yes.
And now we're gonna introduce our new content creator.
Yes.
In the Designer's Corner.
Yes.
We have Marcus Ross.
Yes.
From Water Bear Games.
Yes.
And he is a local designer right here in Omaha.
Yes, he's Omaha, baby.
He's
Omaha, Nebraska, baby. Yeah.
And he's gonna discuss how to make custom dice for your prototype game.
Can't wait to hear that.
Oh, it's a good one.
Can't wait to see it.
It
is a good one.
So
it's a good one.
check it out.
Yes.
And last but not least, we have Ghoulish En La Mesa.
Yeah.
Games on the Table with Daniel Miranda from Tlacuaches En La Mesa.
Yes.
And this week, he's going to discuss how he loves to celebrate Halloween and the Day of the Dead, or Dia de Muertos.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to talk about a game called Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. And it's a co-op game where you're going to work together to beat the game.
That's not yours then. That's not yours. That's not yours. Yeah. But you should try it. You should try it. Yes.
So those are our people that are going to be on this week. So check out everyone. And that's the lineup.
But you know what's coming next. Starla's going to be breaking some knowledge down to us with her Good Humans segment. So let's do it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another segment of Good Humans. This week, I want to focus on truth. So what is truth? And why do good humans need it and depend on it? Truth, by definition, is that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. As good humans, we have to believe in things that are true if we want a society where truth is valued. Knowing that the things we do and believe in are true defines our reality and who we are as a people. As children, we are conditioned to believe in truth and to value truth. Our parents, our teachers, and others in authority taught us to tell the truth and that lying was wrong. And lies have always been frowned on and those who told them either were shunned or met with some other negative consequence. Now, how different things are when we reach adulthood. For some reason, denying truth or blatantly telling lies have become the norm in this society. Lies erode our lives, our justice systems, our social interactions, our democracy, our politics. On a personal level, lies erode our relationships. Who wants to be in a relationship with someone you cannot trust? Someone who cannot keep their word? Who wants to hire somebody who lies? Who wants a leader, a teacher, a minister, a doctor who always lies to them? Nobody. You want to believe the words that are coming out of their mouth. So if we continue to accept lies from some and demand the absolute truth from others, what kind of society are we building? That lies work for some people and truth work for some people? That's not how it works. Truth is truth, and we need to learn to stand on the truth. As we approach the upcoming election season, please don't fall for the lies, the false narratives, the misconceptions, the blatant gaslighting, regardless of if you hear it over and over on loop on television and radio. A lie is a lie. And if you can prove that it's a lie, then it is not the truth. And that's not what we want in this society. Again, our society depends on believing in truth and acting on truth. And we need people who will not only tell the truth, but will stand on that truth and will act on that truth. Without truth, our democracy is in jeopardy. Saying something that is not based on facts is a lie. No matter how many times you say it, it doesn't make it true. So again, let's be good humans and let's learn to tell the truth, believe in the truth, and act on the truth. And as we always say here at OFPG Voices, our goal is to make this world a better place, one board gamer at a time.
What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia
from BlackBoard Gaming. Today, we're going to talk about a game that is probably the closest thing I can get my wife to play that has anything to do with Halloween.
Today, we're going to talk about the Grim Masquerade.
The Grim Masquerade is designed by Tim Eisner, Ben Eisner, James Hudson, and published by Druid City Games.
Let's go to the table for a quick overview of how this game is played.
The Grim Masquerade is a 2 to 5 player game where the players take on the role of fantasy characters who are attending the Beast's masquerade ball. The thing is, nobody knows who anybody else is. So what you're trying to do throughout this game is unmask the other characters at the same time making sure you're not the one being unmasked. So as part of setup, each player is going to draw one of these character cards and they're going to keep it hidden from the other players. They're also going to get one of these player aids and 7 wooden tokens of their chosen color. Now let's look at the character cards. Here we got Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, that looks just like Alicia, and the Big Bad Wolf. So each character card has a boon artifact in the upper left hand corner, and then they have a bane artifact in the bottom right hand corner. So if a character, let's say I'm playing as Cinderella, if I'm able to collect 3 of these glass slipper artifact cards from that, from that deck over there, then I will immediately win the round and get one of these rose tokens for that round. But if I ended up with 2 of my matching of my Bane artifact, which is his clock, then I am unmasked and I will lose the round. And then if a player participated in unmasking me, they would get one of these rose tokens. And rose tokens is how you win the game. So on a player's turn, they're going to draw 2 cards from this artifact deck. Now they start the game with one of these artifact cards that in a draft as part of setup. So let's say, like I said, I'm playing as Cinderella. I draw 2 cards from the artifact deck, one at a time. So I draw the first card, and it's the glass slipper. So the glass slipper. Now remember, I'm trying to collect 3 of those in order to win the round. So I can either place this face up in front of me, or I can give it to another player and they will place it face up in front of them. Because all of this is open information. So let's say I decide to place this in front of me. So now I have to draw a second card. And I have to do the opposite with that. So I drew the spindle. So I have to give this to another player and they place it up in front of them. Now if a player has this as their Bane artifact, so that's Sleeping Beauty. If I give this to Sleeping Beauty and she has one, then I unmask her and I will get one of those rose tokens. Now after that action, I have an optional action. So let's say later on in the game, I had these 2 mirror artifacts in front of me. Now remember, if you draw 2 of your Bane artifacts, you will lose that round. But of course, this Bane artifact belongs to the Evil Queen. So the first thing, I will have this wooden token on the Evil Queen to show that other players, hey, I'm not the Evil Queen. But then I can discard these 2 artifacts in order to take one of these actions. This is an optional action. So there's a permanent action I can take, and there's 2 actions that are randomly drawn from this deck at the beginning of each round. So for example, this permanent one says point the finger, guess the identity of one other player. If correct, I gain a rose. If incorrect, the accused gains a rose. So if I did this and I was correct, I would actually get 2 roses, one for doing this action and one for unmasking another character. So the game is going to end in one of 2 ways. If a player accumulates 10 of these rose tokens, then they immediately win the game. Or after 3 rounds, the game's going to last 3 rounds, and after 3 rounds, whoever has the most rose tokens in their possession will consider themselves the winner of Grim Masquerade. I originally bought this game based on the box art. I was in the board game store and I saw the art and I was like really drawn in. And I did my research and I was like, this looks like a really cool game to bring new gamers into the hobby, you know?
Well, you know, I do think the art is enchanting.
Oh, see, that's a good word.
Yeah, the art is...
Yeah, it is very enchanting, you know, and
yeah.
I was really, and the illustrator is Mr. Cuddington, I think that's his name, and he's done a lot of other stuff. So
yes, but he did a wonderful job.
he did a really good job.
Yes.
And what I really like, I'm glad I did buy it, because I really like that, you know, the fact that you're trying to figure out the other people's characters.
So yeah, I think it's a cute theme. It's not a who done it, it's a who is it. And yeah, that's I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I did enjoy this game, and I like that level of strategy, because you're trying to collect your boon artifacts, but you don't want people to figure out that, like, oh shit, he's trying to collect them glass slippers. He's Cinderella or whatever,
Yeah,
and you're trying to like.
It is a balancing act.
Yeah, do I keep this card or do I get rid of her? Or do I get rid of these 2 cards because to do an action, because I don't want them to figure out who I am.
Yeah, yeah, it is a balancing act.
And it's not long.
No, it's not.
I just really like this game. And I think it really fits this time of year, because this is when people dress up.
Yes, it does. It does. Going to Halloween parties and masquerade balls. So yes, this is a really cool game. And honestly, because of the fairy tale angle, I think it's family friendly as well.
Yep. So that's how we feel about Grim Masquerade. See you guys later.
This is Schooled by Gru for Our Family Plays Games. And this October edition, I want to look at the reality that board games are truly for everyone and explore a very brief history of board games to support that perspective. This is Schooled by Gru, an exclusive series for Our Family Plays Games Voices, where I do a deep dive into my PhD dissertation research and share with you the findings before the rest of the world sees it, exclusively on Our Family Plays Games. One of the things I shared in a previous episode is I successfully defended my PhD dissertation on racial and gender dynamics in the board gaming hobby at the end of June. And one of the things I'm always struck by when I share my research, particularly online, is a recurring question or an assumption that only particular identities love board gaming and privilege board gaming as a leisure activity. I get comments like this one: maybe board gaming doesn't appeal to non-white audiences or certain religions or sexes as much. And there's another comment here: there are some of us who simply do not have that gene. Like I said earlier, I know people who have no interest in gaming, so the statement that everyone likes or wants to game is false. I've actually created an 80-page FAQ when I get questions like these to share some of my research and responses to these questions, and I want to share some of that information with you. So here it is, in our frequently asked questions: is board gaming a white, Western, male-dominated pastime? And one very important demographic fact to keep in your mind as I walk you through some of these early histories of board gaming is 80% of the world's population is Black, Indigenous, or a person of color. As I frequently share with people who make these kinds of ahistorical and inaccurate statements online, board games have been embedded in cultures and civilizations since before the written word. Board games were discovered in the Giraffe civilization, which is now modern-day Iran. Indeed, many of the board games that we all enjoy today have their origins in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. The first reference to board games appeared in English media in 1854, and many of the board games enjoyed by the Western world were adopted from ideas taken from Asian, Middle Eastern, and African games. One of the oldest known board games, Senet, was found in the tombs in the pre-dynastic and First Dynasty of Egypt in 3500 and 3100 BC. The game of Wei Qi, otherwise known as Go in Japanese, has been traced back to 625 BC in China. The game of Bonkala has origins that trace back to Africa in the 7th century AD. Today there are hundreds of variants of this game played all around the world, with some literature suggesting that early followers of the Islamic prophet Muhammad carried player boards with them as they traveled around the world. There are so many examples of indigenous cultures and board games. This is but one of them, a pre-Columbian Aztec game called Patoli. It was played with rolling beans with white pips or white markings, some beans having blank sides, and it was played by the Aztecs in 1300 AD. Now zooming back to the present, when we consider that only 17% of the world's population lives in Canada, as I do right now, the US and the United Kingdom combined, you realize that these ahistorical perspectives about feeling like we are the center of the board gaming universe and at the center of the human population is inaccurate. So think about some of these perspectives, these historical stories of board games embedded across cultures and civilizations all around the planet the next time someone tells you, well, board games are more of a white male phenomena. This has been Schooled by Gru, the October edition, How Board Games Are for Everyone and Have Been Embedded in Civilizations Since Before the Written Word. Thanks so much for listening.
Hello, I'm Marcus Ross with Water Bear Games from Omaha, Nebraska. Today I'll be showing you how I make custom dice for my game prototypes, and some things you might consider early on if you're trying to get the game picked up by a publisher. So first off, here are some engraved dice in various sizes, along with a reference meeple. One thing to consider is that when you put engraved dice in a game like this, each die requires a custom steel form for injection molding, and those molds are very expensive. So Zombie Dice here has 3 different molds, while Martian Dice has only 1. Even though both games use a similar number of dice overall, Martian Dice's mold cost would be cheaper. And another option would be to use silkscreen printed dice. This is good for single colors and when engraved dice would be cost prohibitive. I don't love them because vases can wear over time. In my opinion, the top quality option would be heat transfer dice. You can use a full range of colors and get more detail than with the other options. Different dice just need different graphics. I haven't seen them used effectively outside of Star Wars, so I can only guess at what they cost, but I'd be surprised if they're significantly more than what injection molded dice would cost. Dice come in various sizes denoted in millimeters, with 12 being about the smallest and 16 being the normal size you'd get in something like Monopoly. They can get bigger than that, but it's generally good to stick to the standards. You might vary the size of dice based on how they're used in your game or how many you need. If you have to roll more than about 5 dice, the 16mm dice get difficult to manage. Likewise, if your game requires dozens of dice, you could see significant cost savings with plastic and weight if you go with smaller dice. So let's get started with prototyping our own custom dice. I'm going to make some very meta dice about designing board games. They're inspired by BoardGameizer.com, a website that used to give you a random theme, mechanic, win condition, and twist to design a board game with. I won't have quite as many options as that website used to have, but this is just a demo for us. So when you start making your own prototype dice, you might be tempted to do something like this, where you take standard dice and make a reference chart and look up the result every time you roll. This is a bad idea. I don't have hard data, but intuitively it's difficult to associate concepts to numbers and keep all that straight in your head. This is slower than it needs to be and kind of unnecessary, because it's so much easier to do with words. So you might try something like this. Take a Sharpie and write your results directly onto the blank dice. And this is better, but it's also a great way to get ink all over your players' hands. I don't recommend this either. My first preference, even for your first prototype, is to start with blank dice and use shape stickers or labels. So here I just have some half-inch labels that I found in various colors, but I really prefer to get some actual words or symbols onto the dice. So these are just some blank white half-inch paper labels. I got a roll of 1,000 for maybe $10 off Amazon. So instead of using something like that chart, I can just write enough of the result concept on these dice, and then I can understand it and I can test with that. So for instance, I'm writing sci-fi on this label, which I won't need to look up on a chart to know that it means science fiction. Similarly, I can do a $sign for banking. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. You've seen people write before. And then I'll apply all these stickers directly to the dice, and that'll make this whole thing a lot easier. You could also use heart or star-shaped stickers here. There's lots of options at the dollar store. Even if you need a lookup chart, it'll be easier to remember WP is worker placement rather than 2 on the blue die. So these are perfectly good. If we need to change them up, it's simple to rip off one sticker and just replace it with a new one. Then once I have something I really like and I want to make really good dice for pitching, I go to GameIcons.net and I just start pulling down assets that match my concepts. Because pictures are much easier than even words, once you form the association, they just make way prettier dice. I'm downloading way more pictures than I need here because I like having options. You want your icons to differ from each other in broad shape because they need to be differentiated from each other at a distance when they're on the table. So then I'll pull all these file names into Excel and anything else I need to prepare them for this piece of software here called Card Maker. It's a program from Windows that lets you turn your words and image files into a PDF that you can then print with all your dice face images on it. I just make sure to size it appropriately for the dice I'm using, so maybe 14mm for 19mm dice. I print this onto full sheet label paper. Now before I apply these labels to the dice, I like to put a layer of Mod Podge on them to make them more durable. When I do this, I tape the label paper down onto the table because the Mod Podge causes the paper to curl up as it dries. I put a couple coats on and leave it to dry overnight. Once that's done, I take it to my cutter and I get a pair of scissors and spend the next several minutes making dice. This takes a while. You should take this time to consider whether you really want to do game design. This is what it is most of the time. But I get all those done, and hey, here's a comparison between my first prototype dice and my final prototype dice. I think they actually look pretty good. Dice like these are good enough to show to any publisher. I'm just going to roll a couple examples here, now that I've got all my dice completed. It's like I've got Board Gameizer back. I mean, not really, but this is kind of close. This is good. Oh look, a fantasy I cut, you choose, Won by most points is a rolling right. That could be good. Alright, thanks for watching.
Hola Tlacuaches, mi nombre es Daniel y bienvenidos a otro video aquí en Tlacuaches en la Mesa. Y obviamente un gran saludo a Our Family Plays Games. ¿Qué creen? Estamos por celebrar las mejores festividades del año, las cuales son Halloween y Día de los Muertos. Estoy muy emocionado por estas festividades porque son mis favoritas. Y qué mejor forma de celebrar estas festividades jugando un juego que es de terror. Hoy les presento Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. Ahí les va. En Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters, tú formas parte de un grupo de niños que se intenta meter a esta mansión embrujada para poder sacar todos esos tesoros que hay dentro de esta mansión y salir de ahí antes de que esta mansión te consuma y pierdas en equipo. En tu turno vas a tirar este dado. Este dado te va a indicar cuántos espacios te vas a mover en el tablero. Puedes moverte a través de los corredores o puedes moverte de habitación a habitación. Como podrás ver, este dado tiene la foto de un fantasmita. Cuando giras el dado y te sale un fantasmita en el número que tiraste, vas a jalar una de estas cartas. Estas cartas te indican en dónde vas a poner un fantasma nuevo, porque fantasmas que son representados por estas figuras adorables van a estar apareciendo en cada una de las habitaciones. Por ejemplo, esta dice la letra J y va a aparecer aquí. Cuando esto pase, tú tienes la oportunidad de pelear con estos fantasmas. Cuando entras a un espacio donde hay un fantasma adentro, puedes tirar uno de estos dados. Estos dados negros te van a ayudar para vencer a estos fantasmas. Si tiras la cara de este dado donde hay un fantasma, completamente lo eliminas y se va. Todo esto va a estar pasando y tú te vas a estar moviendo en el tablero tratando de sacar estas gemas lo más antes posible. Porque cuando hay una habitación con dos fantasmas y tienes que agregar otro fantasma dentro, esa habitación se vuelve embrujada. Aquí es donde se pone más difícil el juego. Para vencer a estos entes malignos, tiene que haber dos personas dentro de la misma habitación para que éstas puedan tirar los dados. Y aquí es donde la cara del fantasma rojito es donde cuenta. Tiras los dados y si te sale una de esas caras, completamente eliminas a este ente maligno del tablero. Tienes que tener mucho cuidado porque si en algún punto del juego tienes que colocar el sexto fantasma embrujado en alguna de estas habitaciones, completamente pierdes el juego. Y ahí se termina todo. Todo esto va a estar pasando con el objetivo de que logres sacar todas estas gemas y que todos los personajes estén fuera del tablero. Cuando llegue eso, automáticamente ganas y celebras tu victoria con este gran tesoro de gemas que tienes ahora en tus manos. Tlacuaches, déjenme decirles desde ahorita que este juego tiene muchas similitudes a Pandemic, que es otro juego cooperativo. Jalas una carta y tienes que añadir fantasmas a diferentes habitaciones. Te pone en una posición en la que tienes que pensar pues una estrategia para poder adelantarte, llevar un paso adelante del juego para poder ganarle. El juego cuenta con diferentes niveles para poder hacer más difícil la forma en la que juegas este juego. Puedes añadir estas cartas que son fantasmas extras dentro de este deck de cartas, en las que te va a obligar a sacar más cartas cuando tires el dado de movimiento para que puedas te va a forzar a que añadas más fantasmas en el mismo turno cuando solamente puedes añadir un fantasma a la vez. También existen estas cartas en las que te va a indicar que algunas de las puertas en el tablero van a estar cerradas por ese turno. Entonces tienes que pensar que ahora tienes que quizás ir alrededor o entrar en otra dirección porque hay obstáculos en tu camino. Todo esto es algo muy ligero la temática que hay en este juego es bastante familiar. Es esta película de niños en las que se meten a una casa embrujada buscando un tesoro. Y he tenido muchísimas y muy buenas experiencias con este juego porque aun cuando sea un juego para familias, también es un juego que puedes jugar con adultos. Es bastante entretenido y te da la habilidad de que puedas pensar en una estrategia y trabajar todos juntos en equipo para poder vencer al juego. Y además siempre ayuda que estos componentes, los fantasmitas y los entes embrujados, luzcan también en la mesa. Tlacuaches, les recomiendo mucho este juego y ojalá tengan la oportunidad de jugarlo en estas festividades de terror. Nos estamos viendo en el siguiente video, Tlacuaches. Y ya.
Another great episode.
Well, let me tell you, we do have Grim Masquerade, and we're going to try it.
Yes.
And we also have, that's from the same universe as Grim Forest, and we're going to try that too, because we have that too.
Okay.
So, but they kind of Halloweenish a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want Alicia to try some other Halloween type games.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
I'm with Alicia on this one because, I'm not into really Halloween or scary games either.
Yeah, that's true. That's
but
true,
I mean,
yeah.
it's the season.
It's the season.
It's the season.
And then, Tanya really brought it home.
Yes, she did.
Because I get tired of hearing people that say, oh, these people might not like this game or like games because that's not in their culture or that they didn't grow up with that. That's no.
Well, she proves that games have been embedded in civilization since before the written word.
Yes, and everybody likes to play
Everybody,
games. So
every
stop with
culture.
all that. Stop with
Every
all
culture,
that.
yes.
But Dr. Tanya, she brought it in.
Yes, she did.
She brought it in. And then also Marcus.
Marcus, oh my goodness.
Marcus.
Love this segment.
Marcus.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, dice are for real.
Yes, they are.
And if you have some nice dice, oh yeah, that'll take a game far.
Yeah, and Marcus knows what he's talking about.
Yes,
He's
he does.
published several games.
Yes, he did. Now, Starla, where'd he get the little pointer from?
I don't
Where'd he get the
know.
little pointer? Little finger? That little finger?
I don't know.
Where'd the little finger come from?
That is so Marcus.
That is so Marcus. If y'all know Marcus, that's
That
Marcus.
is so
And that's
Marcus.
why we love him. That's
Yes,
why we
we
love
do.
him. We do.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I love Day of the Dead. So,
Yes.
Daniel just, he just taking it home.
Yes, he
always takes it home.
always takes it home.
He always
Daniel
takes
is
it home.
just awesome.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And I love them all. Love them all. Love them all.
And we want to thank our awesome sponsors.
Yes.
Board and Dice.
Yes.
Renegade Games.
Yes.
Flat Out Games.
Yes.
And Floodgate Games.
Yes.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you guys. We love y'all. We love your games and we love y'all.
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
we do. Now, Starla, tell us about some merch. How we gonna get some? I got a
Well,
merch now too.
You do, but we just brought out a new t-shirt.
Really?
And it's from our slogan from Good Humans.
You just heard it.
And it's called Make This World a Better Place.
Yes.
One board gamer at a time.
Yes.
And a local graphic designer here, Netta J Designs, and it's Lynetta Lee.
Yes.
She designed the shirt for us, and we love it. We hope you guys will check it out and help us make this world a better place, one board gamer at a time.
Lynetta, we love you. We love you, Lynetta.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes. And what else we got going on?
Starla, what we got going on? You let me know. Let me know.
Well, let me tell you.
What we got?
We have a game night coming up on October 29th.
Yes, we do.
At Site 1 Brewing.
Yes, we do.
From 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Come on.
Just show up.
Just come on.
No cost.
No.
Just come on in.
Yes.
Play some games with people. We're going to have little snacks and stuff there for you. The board game wagon's going to be there.
With a nice little library.
With a nice library. But if you have some games at home that you want to play, bring them with you.
And we're going to be giving away games.
We are giving away games.
Some good games. Come on and check it out. Check it out, family. Definitely.
Yes. And then we're also going to be at BGG Con.
Yes.
On November 8th through the 13th.
Yes, we'll be
in
there.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
So if you're anywhere in the Dallas vicinity.
Anywhere.
Come on by. On the 12th of November, we will have a live show. And we're going to be talking about our top 10 games of 2022.
Yes, and we know that some of our OFPG family gonna be there.
And we got some special guests, so you gotta come check them out.
Yes, you do.
And if you haven't signed up for the show, go online and do so today.
Yes, do that today. Now, Starla. if some family members, OFPG family members, want to tell some friends or some family or some co-workers where to find us, where can they say to find us?
Well, if you're looking for Our Family Plays Games
Yes.
and OFPG Voices,
Yes.
you can find us on Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram,
Yep.
Twitter,
Yep.
and right here on YouTube.
All right, family. Thank you so much for coming out, checking out these new voices, because we love them all. And just keep on coming. Come with your questions, your comments. We love seeing them. But there's one thing, and I mean one thing we want you to always know, family. We love you.
Bye
now.
everybody.